So hello everyone. So today I will be discussing about topic that is something about the ocean. So first, the first topic that I am going the brief background about the ocean or something that is related about the ocean. Of course, the the most well-known oceans in the world. So specifically, there are five well-known oceans in the world. So, but before that, they said that because of Earth's water, it may different from other planet. Earth is special because it has so much water. Actually, Earth surface was covered more than 70% of water, and 96.5% of it is salt water. Um, and 3.5 of Earth's water is fresh water, and one third of fresh water is in the ground, and we call that groundwater. And while the other 2% of the fresh water is in the rivers, lake, and streams. So, um, and I have said that one third of the 3.5% of the fresh water is in the ground, and we call it groundwater, while the other 2% of the fresh water is in the rivers, lakes, and streams. While of course um the the very small amount of water is in our atmosphere, where exists as water vapor, and that eventually forms into clouds. Then the other 96.5% rather of waters are in the oceans. So historically, there are four named oceans: the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic Oceans. But however, most countries, including United States, um, now recognize the southern, or what we call the Antarctic Ocean, as the fifth ocean. The Pacific, Atlantic, and the Indian Oceans are most commonly known. The southern but so for a while. So there, as I have said, there are five oceans in the world. Then the five oceans that is commonly known as, or the most well-known five oceans in the world are Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific, and Southern Ocean. So let's so first I am going to discuss about the smallest ocean, in the smallest from the five oceans. So first, the Arctic Ocean. So it is the smallest and swallowest of the world's five major oceans. Then it spans an area of approximately 14,060,000 square kilometer, and is also known as the coldest of all the oceans. Then next, the Atlantic Ocean is the second largest of the world's ocean, with an approximately with so as I am saying, next is the Atlantic Ocean, the second largest of the world's ocean, with an area of about 106,460 square kilometer. It covers approximately 21% of Earth's surface, and about 29% of its water surface area. Then next, the Indian Ocean is the third largest of the world's oceanic divisions, covering 70,560 square kilometer, or 19.8% of the water on Earth's surface. And the next one is the Pacific Ocean. It is the largest and the deepest of the Earth's oceanic divisions. It extends um, it extends from the Arctic Ocean in the north to the Southern Ocean in the south, and is bounded by the continent of Asia and Australia in the west, and the Americas in the west. Um, the Southern Ocean, also known as the Antarctic Ocean, comprises the southernmost waters of the world ocean, generally taken to be south of 60 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees latitude, and encircling Antarctica. So those are um, the most commonly known oceans and the largest of body of water. And the sequence of the oceans from the smallest to largest is: first, the Arctic Ocean is the smallest of them, followed by the Southern Ocean, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, and lastly, the largest of them, the Pacific Ocean. So next, I will be discussing about the 5 major life zones in the ocean. Ocean 5 major life zones. So the first life zone in the ocean is the epipelagic zone. So it is the sunlit upper layer of the ocean. It reaches from the surface to about 200 meters or 660 feet deep. And the epipelagic zone is also known as the photic or euphotic zone, and can exist in lakes as well as the oceans. So when we say sunlit, means illuminated or directly light up by direct light from the sun. Photic, euphotic, or epipelagic zone is the uppermost layer of body of water that receives sunlight, allowing phytoplankton to perform photosynthesis, and it undergoes a series of physical, chemical, and biological processes that supply nutrients into the upper water column. And when we say phytoplanktons, it is so you may ask what are phytoplankton. So phytoplanktons are microscopic organisms that include plants, algae, and bacteria, also known as microalgae. So of course, they live in the epipelagic zone. So they are only visible when billions of them form algal blooms and appear as green or blue splotches in the oceans. And phytoplanktons are the autotrophic components of the plankton community, and a key part of oceans and freshwater ecosystems. So, and phytoplanktons also responsible for almost half of the oxygen released into the Earth's atmosphere, and they are the basis ocean food web. For example, the krill or fish and zooplankton. So zooplanktons are small aquatic microorganisms in the water, and they all eat phytoplankton. Krill, fish, and zooplanktons, they all ate phytoplankton. Then these animals are eaten by whales, bigger fish, ocean birds, and human beings. So first, the phytoplankton being food, serve as a food to the krill, fish, and zooplankton. Then the krill, fish, and zooplankton being food serve as a food to the bigger fish, or as including us human beings. So at least if ever we don't know what are, so at least we have some idea about how it is being processed. Then let's proceed to the next zone. So the next zone in the next life zone in the ocean is the mesopelagic zone. So this zone is also known as the twilight zone because the light there is very dim. It is stretching about 1,000 meters or 3,300 feet deep. So the lack of sunlight means there are no plants in the mesopelagic zone. So but large fish and whales dive there to hunt prey. So fish in this zone are small and luminous. So when we say luminous, full of shedding light, especially in the dark. One of the most common is the lanternfish, which has organs along its side that produce light. And the next zone is the bathypelagic zone. The bathypelagic zone is also known as the midnight zone because no light reaches it. It reaches about 400 meters or equivalent to 13,100 feet deep. Sometimes animals from the mesopelagic zone or the higher zone zones such as the sperm whales and squid dive into the bathypelagic zone for prey. So animals that live in the bathypelagic zone are small, but they often have huge mouths, sharp teeth, and expandable stomachs that let them eat any food that comes along. And many animals in this zone to not have eyes because they are unaided in the dark. So and fish in the bathypelagic zone move slowly and have strong gills to extract oxygen from the water because the pressure there is so great and it is difficult to find nutrients. And most foods of the animals in the bathypelagic zones comes from the remains of plants and animals drifting down from upper zone. And so let's proceed to the next zone, the abyssopelagic zone. The fourth ocean life zone is the abyssopelagic zones. It is the bottom of the ocean. The water in this zone is very salty and cold, 2 degrees Celsius or 35 degrees Fahrenheit, at depths of up to 6,000 meters or equivalent to 19,700 feet deep. So the pressure is very strong, 11,000 pounds per square inch. Animals in this zone have bizarre adaptations to cope with their ecosystem. Many fish have jaws that look unhinged. The jaws allow them to drag their open mouth along the seafloor to find food, such as mussels, shrimp, and microscopic organisms. And many of the animals in this zone, including squid and fish, are bioluminescent. um, biolumni sorry bioluminescent bioluminescent. So when we say bioluminescent, organisms that produce light through chemical reactions in their bodies. A type, example, a type of anglerfish, for example, has a glowing growth extending in front of its huge toothy mouth. When smaller fish are attracted to the light, the anglerfish simply snaps its jaws to eat its prey. So that is for the fourth life zone. So and the last one is the it is the hadopelagic zone. So lastly, the hadopelagic zone, it is the deepest ocean zone found in trenches and canyons. So since it is so deep, few organisms live in this zone, including tiny isopods, a type of crustacean related to crabs and shrimp, and so that's those are the five major life zones in the oceans. So the next topic is that I am going to discuss some issues in the ocean. These issues are includes plastics pollution, trash overexploitation of fishing resources, marine engineering and oil drilling, destruction of habitats, and high level of mercury. So this is the picture of the mentioned the five major life zones that I have been discussed. So the next one is that my topic is some issues in the ocean, as I have said a while ago. So here are the some issues in the ocean. So what are the significant of these mentioned issues in the oceans? Of course, all of the mentioned issues were caused by mankind. Specifically, it is because of human actions, disobedience from the basic order rules and regulations. For example, just basic throwing your trash inappropriately. So we know that sometimes we forgot to do the right thing. Even in that simple action, there is always consequence. For example, the ocean, plastic pollution, and so on. We all know that plastic threatens ocean health, food safety and quality, human health, coastal tourism, and contributes to climate change. And maybe we are all aware of what will happen if there are plastic pollutions um, in the oceans, because the most visible and disturbing impact of plastic pollutions are the ingestion or suffocation and entanglement of hundreds of marine species. And marine species also suffer from laceration. When we say laceration, it is a cut or injuries in their skin that are infections, reduce ability to swim, and internal injuries. For example, floating plastics also contribute to the spread of invasive. When we say invasive, the harmful marine that harmful to marine organisms and bacteria, which disrupt or interrupt ecosystems. And the other one is the overexploitation of fishing resources. So there are reasons why overfishing happens, but of course, when there is an overfishing, there is a negative impact to the marine species. it depletes or it consume or decrease the population of adult fish and doesn't leave enough fish to reproduce and replenish, or when you say replenish, restore or fill up again. So they're dwindling, or the dwindling numbers of fishes, or the become less, or the losing amount of fishes. So that will cause marine life imbalance and loss of income and harvesting of endangered marine species. So all of this may happen because of poor fisheries management, unsustainable fishing, economic needs, as well as illegal and unregulated fishing. So so I always believe in the saying, or specifically what is written in the Bible. What you sow is what you reap. So every negative action results negative consequences. So if you practice overfishing today, expect that in the years to come there will be less or maybe no more fish meal for us to be served, and all of them have negative impact and result to the marine species have a negative impact result to the marine species. Of course, not just for the marine species, of um, also for us humans, um, for us humans too. So they are just some of the issues that destroy and affect a lot in our oceans and everything that is in it. Then those are just the some. Then my next topics are something that is related and has something to do about the ocean also. So so this is the pictures, examples of the plastic or pollutions in the ocean, like this. So as I have said a while ago, my next topic is something related in the ocean. So those are the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, the Bermuda Triangle, Dead Sea, the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. So I will discuss it one by one. So oh sorry. So first, the Great Pacific the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So it is also known also Pacific Trash Vortex. So it is a garbage patch, a gyre of marine debris, particles, and in the central North Pacific Ocean. It is located roughly from 135 degree west to 135 degree to 155 degree west, and 35 degree to 42 degree north. Researchers from the Ocean Cleanup Project claim that the patch covers 1.6 million square kilometers. Some of the plastic in the patch is over 50 years old and includes items such as plastic lighters, toothbrushes, water bottles, pens, baby bottles, cell phones, plastic bags, and noodles. So the small fibers of wood pulp found throughout the pot are believed to originate from the thousands of tons of toilet paper flushed into the oceans daily. So research research indicates that the patch is rapidly accumulating. The patch is believed to have increased 10-fold each decade. So imagine 10-fold each decade since 1945. So the estimated to be double the size of Texas. The area contains more than 3 million tons of plastic. This growing patch contributes to other environmental damage to marine ecosystems and species. So the estimated size range from 700,000 square kilometers, or equivalent to 270 square millimeter, about the size of Texas, to more than 15 million square kilometers, are equivalent to 5,800,000 square millimeters. Next, so that is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Then the next is the Bermuda Triangle. So Bermuda Triangle, also known as the Devil's Triangle. So it is a loosely defined region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, where a number of aircraft and ships are said to have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. So the goddess, or Argosy article delineated the boundaries of the triangle. They said that San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda. Some writers gave different boundaries and vertices to the triangle, with the total area varying from 1,300,000 to 3,900,000 square kilometer. So equivalent to 500,000 to 1,510 square millimeter rather. So there are a lot of incidents occurred or have been listed that a lot of people believe that it has something to do about Bermuda Triangle. So some of those aircraft incidents are Flight 19 on December 5, 1945, the Douglas C-54 on July 3, 1947, the Douglas DC-3 NC-16002, and on December 28, 1948, and a USAF C-119 flying boxcar of the 440th Troop Carrier Wing on June 9, 1965, and many other incidents. But the question is, out of all the incidents that have been recorded or that have been occurred because of Bermuda Triangle, all those incidents, it is really because of Bermuda Triangle? So that is the question. But according to Mr. Raleigh Coshy, the disappearance of Flight 19 is the most famous, dramatic, complicated, and relevant incident in the part of the Atlantic Ocean of the southeastern coast of the United States that 20 years later would become known as the mysterious Bermuda Triangle. So according to him, according also to Mr. Larry, Bermuda Triangle is one of the biggest frauds or delusions that have ever been perpetrated, as he has done his conducted flight on the route. So he said that the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle is one of the most widespread frauds that have ever been perpetrated. And I would like to quote what he have said in his research, that once false information becomes common knowledge, no matter how thoroughly it might be shown to be false, the false version will continue to be believed by some, either because they remain uninformed about the correct information, or because they refused sorry to accept any information that is contrary to the beliefs they told. So so it's just so, whatever I say, if that is your belief, you will never believe me, even if I am telling the truth. So it's yeah, it is very true up until now. And I just, yeah, exactly, I just like, yeah, it's true. But but it's up to the one, to one's belief though. So, and the next, sorry, and so let's proceed. So the next one is the Dead Sea. So what is about the Dead Sea? So of course the sea is called dead because, aside from microorganisms and large algae, this saltwater lake is completely devoid of life. There is no seaweed, fish, or any other creatures found in or around its Turco- turquoise waters. Turkish, sorry, inay. Um, it is located between Jordan and Israel, and one of the saltiest bodies of water on earth, with almost 10 times more salt than ordinary seawater. And the Jordan River is the one main tributary that water flows into the Dead Sea. It has no way to get out, that's why it is forced to evaporate. The Dead Sea's high salt levels mean that people can easily float on its surface due to the natural buoyancy or lightness. So that's all about the Dead Sea. So let's proceed to my last topic, the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. So I am sure that I am not, oh, maybe I am the only one, but still I am going to discuss. So I was so confused about why Pacific and Atlantic Oceans doesn't mix. So today our question will be going to be answered if we ask that. Why Pacific and Atlantic Ocean don't mix? So there are reasons why some rivers, specifically oceans, Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, don't mix because Pacific and Atlantic Oceans have different density and chemical makeup. The level, first, density, level of salinity, and the qualities of the waters. So by the way, the borders between two bodies of water, or it looks like an invisible wall that don't let the waters meet and mix, is what we called ocean lines. But the one that is, it looks like hindering them. So the one that's hindering them to mix, that we can see, is called ocean lines. But why there is an ocean line? So as I have said a while ago, there are specific reasons why they don't meet, and why they don't mix. They meet rather, but they don't mix. So the first reason why Atlantic and Pacific Oceans don't mix is that it is because Atlantic Ocean is more saltier than Pacific Oceans, and when the water is when the water in one ocean is at least five times five times saltier than the other, the borders that we called haloclines appeared. So, what is halocline? So, halocline is the borders between waters with different salinity. And the first reason why they don't mix, why Pacific and Atlantic Oceans don't mix, because of their water's salinity. So, So, Atlantic Ocean is more saltier than Pacific Ocean. So, that's why they don't mix. So, the second reason why Pacific and Atlantic Ocean doesn't mix or don't mix, it is because of water's density. A while ago is salinity, now density. So by the way, what will happen if the one ocean has a greater salinity? What will happen is that the water that has great or more than five times as long as it has a great salinity, the water that has a great salinity will be in the lower, while the water that has less salinity will be in the higher. So the haloclines that will appear, if that is the case, will be horizontal one. So why it did not occur in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans? So why the haloclines don't appear horizontally? It is because the Atlantic water's density is not that great from Pacific Oceans. So although Atlantic Ocean is saltier than Pacific Ocean, but it is not that great that it will cause them to be lower, or in the lower, to be higher or in the lower. So that's why. So the third reason why they don't mix is because of their inertia. So inertia, what is inertia? It has something to do about the speed or direction of motion, and it is the reason why Atlantic and Pacific Ocean have a different direction of flows that don't let them mix. So the fourth reason why Atlantic and Pacific Ocean don't mix is that because of the strength of molecules connection, or surface tensile strength. So Atlantic and Pacific Oceans have a totally different surface tensile strength, and because of the strength, molecules of a matter of both oceans hold to each other, that let them not to mix. So for example, the force like this, but eventually the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean is holding back, so they are not mixed. They're not allowing each other to mix. So because they're holding, they are in the different, they have a different surface tensile strength. So that's why they don't mix. So what is the importance of this? So the importance of this are, first, and we will be able, especially I became aware, and I have acquired some information about the ocean's life zone, and personally, life zone and personally life zone. Honestly, I am not aware about things in the ocean. How does food cycle happen, and how does small fishes survive, and so on. And making this report is a great opportunity to have something useful information about our oceans, and not just about um, the life zone, but even the issues on our oceans. Knowing about those some issues, if not in a big way, that we can help our ocean, uh, personally, we can start in the small things, especially on ourselves. And most importantly, what I have learned in this report is that it is a great joy that whatever I have learned and acquired in making this report, I am able to share it with my classmates. And oh, in the previous reports, I am able to share it, and when I have done my report, I am so my heart satisfied, and I am full of joy, and I know and I believe that is God have been that has been glorified because of the joy that I have felt. So that's all for today's discussion. That's all for my report. Thank you, and God bless.